All right, we are getting loud today. I mean, seriously loud.
You know that feeling? When you're somewhere, maybe a huge concert hall or an old church, and you hear a sound so big, so deep, that you can actually feel it vibrating in your chest, like the sound is coming from the building itself.
Well, yeah, chances are you just met the pipe organ. And trust me, this is not just some dusty old instrument you see in the corner. Nope, it's one of the oldest, biggest, and most complex sound machines ever invented.
So, how in the world did this ancient piece of tech turn into such an epic sound machine? Well, its story is basically one giant 2,000-year-long tech upgrade.
Believe it or not, the very first version came all the way from ancient Greece, and get this, it was powered by water pressure. How cool is that? Then, over the centuries, especially during the Middle Ages, it just got bigger and bigger and way more powerful. It pretty much became the official soundtrack for massive cathedrals and all the big, epic ceremonies. And the coolest part? You can still find these amazing historic instruments all over the world today.
Okay, so how does this beast actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside. It all starts with something super simple. Its power source is just air.
You know, the amazing thing is how simple the main idea really is. So first, you have an electric blower. Think of it like a massive fan that pumps tons of air into this big wooden box called a wind chest. And by the way, back in the day, people had to pump giant bellows by hand to do this. Can you imagine? Okay, so then you press a key. That key opens a little valve, which lets that pressurized air just shoot up into one specific pipe. That sudden rush of air makes the air inside the pipe vibrate. And that vibration, well, that is the sound. The pipe is basically just a giant amplifier for that vibration.
And what about the pitch of the note? Well, that depends completely on the pipe's size. It's actually super simple. You got short pipes, you get high, bright sounds, kind of like a notification on your phone. But the long pipes, oh yeah, those are the ones that give you those super deep, rumbly bass notes. You know, like the voice in a movie trailer. It's a simple rule. The bigger the pipe, the lower the note. And the level of detail here is just, wow. The pipes aren't all made of the same stuff. Nope. They can be made of tin, lead, or all different kinds of wood. And each material gives the sound its own unique texture, its own personality. It's kind of like changing the skin on a character in a video game. It changes the whole vibe.
All right, let's talk about the controls. And look, if you think your gaming setup is complex, you haven't seen anything yet. An organ console is like a pilot's cockpit got mashed up with the most insane gaming rig you can imagine. And it's all for making music.
So this whole command center has a name. It's called the console, and it has a lot going on. You've got keyboards for your hands. Those are called manuals. But then you look down and there's a huge keyboard for your feet. That's the pedal board. And then all around you, you've got tons of these knobs and switches, and those are called stops.
So what's up with all those stops? Well, think of them like Instagram filters, but for sound. You pull one out, and boom, you get a sound like a flute. You pull out another one, and suddenly it sounds like a trumpet. By mixing and matching all these stops, the organist can combine sounds, just like a painter mixes colors or a DJ mixes tracks, to create completely new voices. So you gotta understand, playing the organ is a total full-body workout. Seriously, you're not just using your fingers. You have to coordinate both of your hands and both your feet, all at the exact same time, to control this gigantic machine. We're talking multitasking on a completely different level.
So what does it actually take to get good at this thing? This isn't just about practicing a little bit. Becoming a real organist is like leveling up in the most epic video game you can imagine. It's a real-life skill tree for sure.
Okay, so your skill tree starts with mastering the piano. Think of that as the tutorial level. Once you've got that down, you move on to the organ itself to tackle the real challenge, learning to play with your feet on that pedal board. And you're not done yet. From there, it's off to a university to literally grind through levels of music history and theory, all before you can even face the final boss, becoming a master performer. And here's a cool little detail. Organists even have special gear, like an unlockable item. They wear these special shoes that have really thin soles and a solid heel. Why? So they can actually feel the individual keys on the pedal board properly. It is all about precision. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds like really old tech, and you're right, it is. But here's the thing, the pipe organ is still a total game changer even today.
First off, the sheer scale is just mind-blowing. We're talking about the biggest organs in the world having more than 10,000 individual pipes. That's like an entire army of different sounds, all just waiting for one single person to command them.
And another thing, you don't just, bring in a pipe organ like a piano. No way. It's literally built into the architecture of the building. A big one can weigh several tons. It's not just an instrument. It's part engineering marvel and part massive art installation. So, is this thing still relevant today? Oh, absolutely. I mean, new pipe organs are still being built all the time, and the amazing historic ones are being carefully preserved. Builders are even adding modern tech, like computers, to help organists manage all those thousands of sounds. And get this, the top concert organists? They're basically rock stars, traveling the globe to play for huge crowds. So that leads us to the big question, right? Does this ancient piece of tech still have a real place in our super modern world?
And the answer is a huge, definite yes. Because it's so much more than just an instrument. It's a living, breathing piece of our cultural history. It's an architectural wonder. And most importantly, it creates a physical, room-shaking sound that even with all of our amazing digital technology just can't be replaced.